Nobody ever comes out on top
No.
having sold drugs or,
At least not
Breaking Bad. What's Tony Montana? What's his name?
Scarface?
Scarface. Yeah, nobody ever comes out on top.
Yeah, that's true. Is there a drug movie that people come out on top?
If there is one, leave it in the comments.
Welcome to DTF Watch This. These are the episodes where we tell you movies we watched recently that we think you should check out too. Today we just did Layer Cake. We got a little bit inspired by one of our previous episodes of The Menu.
No, it was Glass Onion that inspired us. There's so many movies that we've done. Well, you kind of forget what inspires what.
But no, this is actually the third movie of what's the actor's name?
Daniel Craig?
Yes. Right?
Yeah.
The chef from The Menu.
Oh, Ralph Fiennes?
Yeah, this is the third movie we've done with him, right? Wait, no,
Ralph Fiennes in? No, Ralph Fiennes isn't in.
Man, I've got them all mixed up.
Now, if you're just joining our show for the first time, you'll know that we never keep names apart.
Man, I for sure thought that those two actors were the same person for some reason.
You thought Ralph Fiennes and Daniel Craig were the same person?
For a second?
Oh, man.
I mean, they look kind of similar, don't they?
Well, I will say, watching Layer Cake for like the fourth time, as characters are introduced, I kind of think, man, all white old British guys look the same.
Oh, I know, man. Diana was pointing out the different accents, though, just amongst all of the guys. I was like, yeah, there's a lot of accents going on here. But yeah, so we did a Layer Cake, and I was pretty much confused the entire time. Like, there was like so many different stories happening at the same time, and I don't know if I fully grasped it. I had to take care of Aurora at some points, and so I think maybe either I missed some sections or maybe I'm just dumb and couldn't follow it.
I'll tell you this: it's called Layer Cake for a reason.
Yeah,
it's typical British. Guy Ritchie, Matthew Vaughn, who produced and I think he directed this one too. Anyways, he's done Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels and Snatch. He produced those. So it's that typical British fast action, lots of stuff going on. You're confused. You got to get caught up at the very end. You're like, oh, okay. So this Layer Cake is well layered with plenty of different stories that you've got to try to keep up on. So yeah, it's confusing. I've watched it 4 times and I'm still confused.
This was the first time I've seen it. I was entertained the entire time, but just had no clue. I'm like, what happened to that one story? What happened to the girl that they're supposed to be looking for? I'm like, did he just find somebody else to do the job for him and just said, whatever, moving on. I'm like, there's coke involved. There's not a kidnapping. Yeah, there's coke involved. All of a sudden, ecstasy's involved and people robbing people. I mean, there's so much going on. You really can't be bored, but you can be extremely confused.
To sum it up, what you should learn watching this movie is don't do or sell drugs. It's as simple as that. Nobody ever comes out on top.
No.
Having sold drugs or,
at least not
Breaking Bad. No, there's no, oh man, what's Tony Montana? What's his name?
Scarface?
Scarface. Yeah, nobody ever comes out on top.
Yeah, that's true. Is there a drug movie that people come out on top?
If there is one, leave it in the comments.
Because I'm trying to think you got Blow, and then you got Donnie Brasco. Wait, Donnie Brasco is more of a mob.
No, that was an
movie.
Informant type.
Yeah,
mafia.
But either way, that's a really good movie too.
Yeah. Basically, if you're dealing drugs, you're gonna, have the rich stuff for a while, and then you're not.
I think
you're either gonna be dead or in jail.
Yeah, I think the moral of the story is sell drugs until you're rich and then stop. That's the moral. No, I don't think it ever comes out even then. I think there was a documentary I watched too, and these one guys were selling drugs, and they were like racing these like super fast speedboat things, and they're all in the news and all that stuff for a long time. And it just, well, in the end, it never worked out. But it's just crazy how they live this over the top extravagant lifestyle, like in the eye of everybody.
Yeah. I mean, all those little true crime or documentary series where they're talking about some coke dealer in the 80s, like they were living the high life, and then they either got taken out or they're in jail. So
from what I gathered in this movie is it's just people screwing people over and over and over again. It's like they want you to do this, but then something else happened, or they got the drugs from this place which screwed someone else over, and now you're dealing with it. It's just,
yeah. I mean, basically, could you trust anybody if you're a drug dealer? I don't think I could.
I mean, drugs in general are kind of an interesting thing because you pretty much are just trusting a stranger, and then you're going to ingest whatever from some stranger that you paid money to. You're like, I hope you did it right, but let me test it out.
That reminds me of I was at this little jazz club in college with some friends, and it's dark and moody, and we're sitting at this table, and I feel something under my feet, and I pick it up, and it's a little plastic bag with weed in it. I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody lost their weed. And then I kind of like open it up, and I was going to give it to my friends because, again, I've never done drugs or anything. And I open it up, and I'm like, what the hell? It was like rolled up wet newspaper that they had kind of dyed to look like a bunch of weed and put it in these bags. And they probably sold them to, people in the club, and like, oh man, I got duped.
Yeah. I remember in high school, there's some people that would sell just like aspirin and say it was ecstasy. And then people would be like, that didn't do anything. Like, oh, I don't know.
I always wanted to go to like a rave and walk around and, sell those little breath mint strips. Before they came to America, you could get them in Canada, but nobody really knew about them, what they were. And like sell those and say they were acid and like make a bunch of money and then just leave.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So anyways, this movie, back to the movie, I guess. It's always been one that I've enjoyed. Like I said, I've watched it like 4 times now. And to this day, I still don't quite know who's screwing over who and who you can trust. And like every time I watch it, I'm like, that was a good movie.
Part of me was wondering, just because I know I looked away a couple times, does this movie jump back and forth in time frames to show you? I know like they go way back in the past, but does the story with the main characters and stuff flow through? Like this is his entire day or his entire week where he's dealing with this?
I would say this is probably the span of about a week.
Yeah.
It seems like it's not a day thing, but I feel like it takes place in about a week. Besides the whole flashback to the
dinner.
What's his name? Crazy Larry.
Oh yeah.
Crazy Larry guy. It's not a lot of like total back and forth. It's just kind of like, oh, here's what we did to this person.
Yeah.
And that's how they got killed. Kind of thing. That's what I had to do.
And then he's just like, well, like that wasn't me. Like I didn't. Everyone's coming after him, just being like, like you're a part of this. He's like, I'm just here trying to move some stuff, basically. Yeah. I don't know where it came
bad
from.
For the guy.
Yeah,
like
he's like driven into straight up murder and stuff because of all this.
Here's a guy that wants to retire, like basically that week. And he's like, got enough money saved up. He's like, I'm out of the game. I'm going to go legit, and then boom, hey, you need to do this for me. And you're going to end up, killing people, like just doing all this stuff you've never done.
It's always just the one more job. Just one more thing. And then it turns out to be the worst thing ever.
You know how Daniel Craig, not Ralph Fiennes like you think, Daniel Craig... Guess how old he was in this movie?
He is probably 34.
Oh, he was 36.
Yes.
I'm like, dude, I thought he was like 50.
Oh, no, man. This dude has not aged at all. I was telling Diana about that.
Yeah, he looks 50, but like a super fit, awesome, rugged 50, like manly 50. And he's looked like that, I guess, since he's been 30.
He's probably 50 or in the late 40s in like 007. I don't know when the 007 series stuff came out. So
not too far after this. I mean, when he picked up that gun for the first time, you're like, oh, I feel so James Bondish.
Oh man, in the diner scene.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, who is this dude? And why is he just getting the shit kicked out of him? Like, I don't think they showed him before. I was like, what is going on? And then the music in this, I was noticing, is just
fantastic.
It's awesome, but it's like funny, the choices that they decided to use. I'm just like, what is happening here? So,
the soundtrack is definitely amazing. And it's all, I'm pretty sure it was all British, like rock that they used.
Yeah, especially that diner scene, though. The music's like cutting in and out. It's like almost like the dude was wearing headphones for some reason. I was kind of like confused by all that.
Well, speaking of headphones, the guy with the headphones, that was pretty funny. Because the guy who had the headphones and he's like doing the sweep for like bugs and stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, you know, that's clear. I thought the whole time he was listening for like, you know, audio pickups or something to, you know, spies or, you know, the cops listening in on him.
Yeah.
At the end, he was just listening to French audio tapes to learn.
No, man, there's been a few movies lately, though, that I've watched, like Don't Worry, Darling. Man, I was confused on that one, too. So, but I do enjoy those movies where you're like trying to figure out what's happening and trying to keep up with it.
Yeah.
As long as there's enough happening and interesting stuff happening and that it gets resolved in the end, I'm good.
I mean, I love those weird movies. Stacy hates them. She hated Don't Worry, Darling.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she didn't hate it. She didn't hate it, but like she straight up hated Perfume, though. So that means it's got to be good.
Yeah. So we should do it. Was there any other things you wanted to hit on this?
I don't know. The only thing is don't do drugs or sell them. Don't get high on your own supply.
Yeah. Which I don't think he ever did in this. Like,
no. I don't think he did drugs.
No, I don't think he did drugs at all in this. Only murder.
Yeah.
He skipped drugs and went straight to murder. He's like, whatever.
Any favorite scenes for you?
Oh, I think I did like the scene where they're showing how the drugs got stolen. And there's that girl who's just freaking out because like she has the Uzi or whatnot aimed at him and he's taunting her and she's just like, ah, and then she just takes out the dude with the little flower pots or like plant pot things that opens up the door.
Yeah, what was her name? Like Slaughter or Slasher Slayer?
I mean, any of those
like
fit because she mowed down the one like innocent dude who's just walking in.
Oh, I could never be with a girl like that. Like, oh gosh, just like my heart races just hearing that shrilly loud screeching voice.
And she doesn't stop either.
No.
Honestly, I thought she was done in that scene. Like after that happened, I thought all hell was going to break loose. But
I was going to say, I think my favorite scene is like the very last 2-3 minutes, because there's two things, you know, there's that one thing that we don't expect to happen. So without giving anything away, did the ending not just kind of like throw you for a loop? You're like, oh, geez.
No, I did not at all. I was like, man, I almost wanted to spoil it, but
yeah, don't spoil it. But it's like, holy crap. But the fact that you realize you don't know, we'll bleep that. But like, you know, you're like, oh crap. Yeah, no. Like normally you're like, oh, this is such and such character. And you're thinking about their, but at the end, I'm like, yeah, no, we don't know.
Yeah, they don't ever say it, do they?
No. Yeah, he doesn't have a name, you know. Yeah, but that's Layer Cake. Go watch it.
Tons of layers, tons of confusion that all comes into a delicious little piece that you can just put right in your mouth.
Nom, 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 nom. Delicious cake.
Exactly. So that's it for this episode. Hit up all the socials, you know, do the cool things like subscribe and then like
send us an email. Why not?
Why not?
No one does.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have a little fan mail or a complaint, like, I don't know, something. Send us some spam. No, don't do that. We'll have to change the email after that. But
to dadstalkfilm2 at gmail.com.
Exactly.
Or the real Dad's Talk film.
But yeah, so until next time.
That's it.
Peace.
Have a good one, guys.